at this point, like for in my career and like the way I've been from the beginning is like I will fight anybody any day. I don't care how short a notice it is. Like as long as I can make the weight and and I can get in there safely, then I'm gonna do it.
What's up, guys? It's Jack, and today I have a special guest with me, a fighter that I'm excited to talk about. His last win was September 17th. He won by knockout in just over a minute, and he had a lot going on at that time, so I'm here to talk about him. But first, I want to ask, Damon, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I was curious to have you on because I saw on your Twitter, you were going after everybody, from TJ to to Edson to Bryce Mitchell. What kind of is sparking this? With you talking about everybody.
Honestly, it's just the matching each other up is kind of annoying because it's like you gotta sit back and wait, and you gotta wait for somebody to do their job. You gotta wait for another guy to do his job. So it's like it goes through like 4 or 5 different guys before you get your your matchup. So I just figured I would kind of rush it a little bit and get a matchup because I planned on fighting one more time this year, and it's getting towards the end of the year, so it's kind of closing in on the final cards are kind of getting filled out. So I was really trying to press for a card, and then the Bryce Mitchell fight came up, and I tried to step in last minute, and he's acting like nobody wanted to fight him, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I was willing to fight him, and so I started calling him out, and then me lining up my next fight's really important. So I was trying to just hit everybody up and just start some crap, but we'll see how it works.
Yeah, the last win, I just want to go back real quick just to remind everybody, your last win, September, was against Pat Sabatini. Obviously you had a lot going on in that fight week, of course, and I'm curious, how did that win feel after, all the build-up and everything? How did it feel to get not just a win, but a win like that and so fast?
Yeah, no, it was great, man. It's kind of what you train for. You train really hard for that chance to go out there and get a finish or to capitalize on your game plan, and when it comes through that way, it's just pretty awesome. So I was very prepared for the fight. There was definitely a lot of emotion going into it, but I was prepared for the fight, so that's why I felt really confident going through the fight after everything I was going through. It just felt good to get out there and get a win like that and get out there and easy finish. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it was very impressive, and especially a lot of people I saw were going for Sabatini, so I mean, it must have been very satisfying. But I was looking at your Twitter, preparing for the interview, and I noticed as soon as there was even a rumor that Mozart was going to pull out of that Bryce Mitchell fight, you were immediately aiming for that fight. I'm just curious to know, since you wanted it so early, did the UFC ever contact you or ask, hey, do you want to fight Bryce Mitchell on November 5th, or was there no ever contact?
Yeah, no, there was talks with my manager about it was kind of up in the air between Ilya, me, and I think Yusuf. I think Yusuf got in there too. But those guys, they're too heavy. They walk around heavy. They couldn't make weight. And, I'll walk around. I never get to where I can't make weight. It would be a rough weight cut for sure, but I could make the weight. And, I'm just prepared to step in all the time. And, especially when it's a ranked opponent like that, it would have been a great opportunity for me. So I was trying to, take the fight, just capitalize on the opportunity like that. It would have been awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, to your knowledge, did Bryce ever, decline to fight you necessarily, or was it just the UFC wasn't open to it? What was kind of the overall?
I think it was a combination of, he probably didn't want the matchup on a short notice like that because it was a different style. My submissions are better than what was the kid's name? The Russian dude. I don't even know his name, but I think that he's got great control. He's got, the ability to take someone down for sure, but he doesn't have that finishing ability like I do. So I think that there's a lot of guys that I would give a lot of problems with, but Bryce Mitchell would have been, I think it would have been a lot of stand-up stuff too. So, I think that it was a combination of him probably not wanting it, but I don't think he's scared of me or anything. I just think that it probably style-wise, it wasn't a smart move by him to take the fight against me on a short notice. And then I'm sure the UFC, like I'm not even verified on my stuff, so I don't think that they're, because I don't do a whole lot on social media, so I'm sure they're not too thrilled to have me jump in as main event. So maybe I gotta spice it up a little bit and start doing some crazy stuff. Like I'm a busy dude, so I don't have time to push it so hard on social media and do all the extra stuff. So maybe one day I'll find some time, but right now I'm just kind of focused on myself.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're selling yourself a little short. I think a lot of people would be really excited for you if you would have hopped in there and the UFC would have made that. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's an interesting matchup right there. So I would have been excited, and I think a lot of people too. But unfortunately, it didn't come through. And now, obviously, you hear Bryce Mitchell's fighting Ilia Topuria, I believe, December 10th on that pay-per-view. So what are your thoughts on that? That now it's officially gone. Are you just disappointed, or how?
Yeah, I am, because I would have loved to step in on that fight. It would have been really cool, and especially being a main event would have been really, really cool. But I think that I just keep winning fights. I'll get to that point. But Ilya's got great talent. He's such a tough dude, and we had a fight. He caught me, and it kind of sucks because you don't really get to test yourself against someone whenever the fight gets finished in the first. So it's like, I would love to, run that one back. So, it's frustrating to get those losses like that. So, to see him go out there and finish Bryce Mitchell, it wouldn't surprise me, but I would like to get in there and test myself with both of them. I would love to get back in there with him again. And, it's frustrating to not get the fight for sure.
Yeah, and I got to say, looking at the rankings, I thought, comparing it to you, I really would like to see you fight a ranked guy. I think the guy, and I'm curious to see your thoughts on this matchup. I saw you kind of tweet it and allude to it, but I think Edson Barboza, once he, I know he's injured at the moment. I don't know how bad it is, or when he can come back. But if he can come back around the time frame that you're looking at, would that be a fight that you would want to take?
Oh yeah, I mean, people say it all the time, like they say like they'll fight anyone or whatever, and then they get called out and they don't back it up. But at this point, in my career and like the way I've been from the beginning is like, I will fight anybody any day. I don't care how short a notice it is. Like, as long as I can make the weight and and I can get in there safely, then I'm gonna do it. And right now I want to fight one more time this year. So I didn't even know he was injured. I was just kind of talking smack because he's the next guy, below me that was available. And Yusuf's available, so maybe I get that fight. And then Alex Caceres is available. I haven't seen him fight in a while, so I know he should be ready to fight soon. So that's three guys right there that I would, take that fight any day. And then these fights that are coming up where they're, high on the card and they're featherweights, I'm ready to step in on a 2 or 3 day notice. I can compete at any time. My cardio is great. My weight's good. I could step in at any time.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm definitely excited for you to come back in. But speaking of other fights, though, I saw you were tweeting about the pay-per-view this weekend. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the whole event, the whole card. Like, what were your overall thoughts on it?
Well, I didn't realize it was that early, so I only caught the main card, and the main card was pretty solid. I kind of I was jacking around. I said that Sean O'Malley won the fight, but I think that was kind of that was rough to watch. Like he's got the talent for sure. And it was cool to see him in there with one of the best guys in the division. So it was cool to see him out there competing, and he was actually, doing well that first round. And then it seemed like, the second round it got taken away from him. Even the first, he got caught. He caught him a few times, but then he ended up getting caught too. So that first round was closer than what you would think. But I think maybe O'Malley won it, and then the second and third go to Peter. And I don't know how anyone judged it any other way. I think it's just that Sean O'Malley brings such a fan base that even the judges are going to kind of, lean towards him because he's a likable dude. He's pretty funny. He's entertaining for sure. And, that goes a long ways for sure. That's why you got to finish fights, man. That's why I tell everybody, I'm like, got to get it finished. Like, I get scared to death to go to the judges every time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting, Jan, I saw a tweet. He's 1-4. I think he was like 1-3 in his last 4 or something like that. And he's still considered one of the best bantamweights. So I agree with you. There was a super close fight. But, I want to get to a fight that's in your division. It looks like, the champion, Alexander Volkanovski, is going to move up to 155. What are your thoughts on that fight with Islam? Do you think he gets it done? And are you upset, if necessarily, that he's like a double champion? Do you feel like the division will be held up?
I definitely am always concerned with that. And it's kind of a big concern of me breaking into the top 15 was being held up from these matchups, like only fighting like once, maybe twice a year, and which is crazy to me. I just would like to fight 3 or 4 times a year, all the time. So if I have to go from 45 to 55 and restart my ranking, then I'll do that. I want to stay busy. So it would definitely be frustrating to see the belt being held up. And I think that he's been so willing to fight everyone that's deserved a title shot. So I think that him going up is not, it's something you could look at and not get upset with, but it is frustrating for sure. But for him to go up to 55, I could see him doing that for sure and doing well. I think that's a very tough fight for anyone. I think that his wrestling is just, insanely good. So anyone's going to have a problem with him, especially when you're coming up the division. That extra, 20 pounds is quite a bit. It's like, a kid, he's a big dude, so him walking around at, 185, 190 is pretty easy. And I think that Volkanovski might, he might be heavy too for the division, but not for 55. I think that he needs to stay at 45 to be that dominant. So it's gonna be a tough fight for sure. But hopefully he lets the bell go, and maybe Max Holloway and Yuri get to get in there, square off for the belt or something. I don't know, interim belt maybe or something. I don't know. But hopefully the division doesn't get held up for months and months, because those guys just sit around and, no one fights for the title. And I mean, Josh Emmett's right there too. So there's a lot of big fights to make for sure.
Yeah, and final question. Say you're the UFC. You get to name your opponent, time, place. What is your ideal next move? When are you fighting? Who are you fighting in this, like, in your ideal world?
Well, I mean, just the way that the rankings work, I would love to fight. I would love to step in. You got Danny Ingay's right there. He's not matched up now. He's not fighting Ilya. So I would like to have that fight, or I'd like to fight Alex Caceres. I'd like to fight Yusuf, or I would like to fight Edson. So one of those guys I would love to fight, and I really want one more this year. So December 3rd, 10th, 17th, one of those cards would be awesome. Or maybe I can fight this weekend. I'm ready to go. So whatever happens, I'm ready to step in for sure, or fill in a spot or whatever I have to do. But yeah, that's what, I want one of those fights for sure.
Yeah, once again, Damon, thank you for coming on the show. Big fan, and I'm excited to see your next move.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Peace.